Hello gamers, it's math time. If you saw my last video, you'll know I've been using this 3-star bow on Yoimiya. Originally as a joke, but after some testing, it's actually kind of good. So I wanted to test it up against the two free-to-play bows that I've been hearing about most, Rust and the Hamayumi craftable bow from Inazuma. But I realized the problem with the Hamayumi's passive. To take full advantage of its damage bonus, you need to have 100% energy. But since I'm using the Remy set, she loses energy whenever I use her skill, which she kinda needs to, do any damage. So for the first test, I swapped out one of the artifacts, so I'm only using the 2-piece set bonus to give a more fair comparison between the two. First, for my Slingshot build, Yoimiya has a 1600 attack stat, and her artifacts are giving her 205.1 crit value, a 1 to 2.23 crit ratio, 71 flat attack, and 4.1 attack percent. These stats will come in handy when comparing the different weapon builds. So here's the test setup. I down the Cryo Registry and do 2 normal attack sequences and see how much health is left. Do that 5 times with Yoimiya solo and take the average health remaining. Then do the same thing but with Bennett on the team buffing her attack. The 5 solo runs came up to an average of about 56% health remaining. Then with Bennett on the team, it's the exact same thing, so I won't waste your time. Here are the results, and it averages out to about 35%. I had to improvise with the Hamayumi's build since just swapping the weapon left her low on crit rate, so I downgraded some of the artifacts and ate crit rate food to compensate and balance the crit ratio. Her attack is obviously higher because of the weapon, and her artifacts have a 215 crit value, a 1 to 2.06 crit ratio, 71 attack, and 5.8 attack percent. Notice that all these stats are either equal or better than those on the Slingshot build, so this is really giving the Hamayumi the benefit of the doubt in these tests. And unsurprisingly in the solo tests, the 4-star bow won, but only by 1%. And as soon as Bennett's attack bonus was added, the Slingshot actually took the lead by quite a bit. So especially considering the Hamayumi's energy requirements, and even without using the Reminiscence set, the Slingshot pretty much outperforms to the point where even if you could max refine the Hamayumi, is it really even worth the prototypes? So moving on to the Slingshot VS Rust, which I tested at both Refinement 1 and 3. And it's just better. No ifs, buts, or whatever the fucks. If you have Rust, just use that. Unless you're me and you want to flex that you main Yoimiya with a 3-star bow, which is fair. I also tested some simple max damage combos with the Reminiscence set, so here's how they went. Rust easily outperformed both bows, hitting the highest number by far. Slingshot put up a good fight, managing a hit of almost 43k. And before I could test the Hamayumi, Xingqiu said, "No, fuck you," and killed the fucking thing. So once it respawned, I did the same combo but switched in Bennett to funnel some energy to Yoimiya so I could activate the bow's passive. And it still hit just barely less than the Slingshot. So final thoughts, if you have Rust, use it. It'll outperform the other bows at any refinement. If you don't have Rust, the choice is a little less obvious. If you're using the 4-piece Reminiscence set, I think Slingshot is the clear choice. It's easy to R5 and unlike the Hamayumi's passive, it won't get in the way of combat. And as long as you add some extra attack through Pyro Resonance, Bennett, 4-piece Noblesse or 4-piece Tenacity, you'll be fine. But if you're using a different set, then it kinda depends. If your artifacts aren't insane and you have a Bennett to use, the Slingshot still wins. But if you already have tons of crit from your artifacts, or have other characters that can boost Yoimiya's crit, the Slingshot will start to lose value against the Hamayumi's higher base attack. So, I don't know, I showed you my numbers, you decide.